If Jesus were to post online, what would he say?
Sit down, relax, and listen.
How do we take this book and make it a book for today for the realities that we're dealing with?
The Bible is always relevant. Prayer changes the chemistry of the brain. We make time for what is important to us. Why not for prayer?
Well, welcome everybody to the Unbound podcast, and a special welcome to a gentleman who I've gotten to know, respect, and appreciate, Dr. Konstantinos Zaros.
Thank you.
We are so glad to have you for your first time in the United States of America and in the state of Texas.
Indeed, and I really love it.
We want to make you feel a little Texanish. So we got your little hat, and so I thought I'd match you over here because Texans are known for their hats. So
it's perfect. I love it.
So what have you done since you've gotten here? You've only been here a short time, but what have you experienced? What have you seen?
First of all, I am impressed by Texas, or all these vast expanses we don't see in Greece.
Okay.
Athens is a very crowded place, so I really love to see all these vast expanses, and the sky above it and it is very impressive to me. So with these two good friends here, Heather here and Jack here, we went to
I think it's Bass.
Bass
Yeah.
Pro Shop.
Yep, Bass
We
Pro
went
Shop.
to the Bass Pro Shop, and it is a very big, it's a mega store actually. You can find anything in there, and it is so far away from what we have been used to in Greece especially. It's a new idea to me. I'm sure that had my wife been with me, she would never leave the place before sundown.
Well, I'm glad you had a great experience in the U.S. and in Texas. Of course, we first met in Athens, Greece, where we had great discussions, and I got to know and appreciate the knowledge that you have that's so broad and so relevant. And so that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit today, about how to be relevant in our world today as people who believe the Bible is unbound, that it's not bound by time or cultures or the limitations of humanity, but when released, it can demonstrate its relevancy. So can we get started and have a little conversation?
Of course.
Here we go!
Well, Dr. Zaros, we live in a very frayed world. Everything is so divided politically, socially, racially, families. Everything is so frayed. And the question is, how do we hold on to biblical truth and kind of make biblical truth relevant to the realities of what we're dealing with today? I mean, the Bible was written to afraid people and afraid society. How do we take this historical book and make it a book for today for the realities that we're dealing with?
That's a great question. Actually, our age is an age of anxiety, exactly as the age when Jesus Christ appeared among humans. So the Bible is always relevant. There is nothing more relevant to humans and to their problems than the Bible, because everything is in there. By studying the Bible, we study problems of real people. We see the problems of real people, various books, various people, personalities, the ups and downs in lives of real persons. Bible is about real persons, real humans, and therein we may find real answers.
So you just hearing you talk that way, because some people have this ethereal view of the Bible. It's kind of, it's kind of up there.
Right.
And don't bring it down to the reality of what you just said. How are you seeing that in your own world, in the world that you're from, and what we see on the news, where the relevancy of the Bible matters?
Let's go to Matthew for a moment. Jesus says to his disciples and to his audience that you have heard that the ancient ones, the older ones, were told so and so, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not murder, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I tell you that even the thought of killing makes you a sinner. What is more applicable than this? This teaching of Jesus stops the idea of violence into its birth pangs. Within the teaching of Jesus, we see the transition from an outer fulfillment of the law to an inner adaptation and acceptance of the heart of the law. Because this ruling not to kill, because if you kill, you will suffer a punishment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a ruling coming from Leviticus. Yet, if one stops this sequence leading from anger to killing, if it will be stopped inside him the moment that he starts to feel anger, then what do we have? We have a transition from stopping an effect to the level of stopping an idea from being externalized.
Wow.
So one of the greatest messages that Jesus conveys with his teachings is that try to fulfill the law first into yourselves. Stop sin at its birth pangs, in its level of causes, not on the level of effects.
Boy, so you're starting, and Jesus is starting in a whole different place, because he's saying if you can get it right on the inside, it'll control what you do on the outside.
Exactly.
So this whole, I guess, religious emphasis on externals misses the point, because it doesn't deal with the root. It just kind of focuses on the fruit. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Exactly.
Good. I'm glad I'm agreeing with you. Well, one of the areas where fraying is taking place today in our human relationships, dating and marriage and family disintegration has really wrought havoc in our world, and we're seeing the social and economic repercussions of that in our world, and I'm sure to some degree in the society that you're a part of. Yet the Bible was written in a culture that was so different than our world today, our modern society. If you were to apply what you just said to families and the importance of family and the biblical truths that underscore the home, how would you apply that? What would you say about the family and biblical truth?
First of all, you need to have peace, inner peace. Peace inside means peace at home. Peace at home means peace at society. It's that simple. When Jesus says hello to his disciples back then, he uses this ancient old salutation, Irini imin, peace to you. Shalom aleichem. Actually, this salutation, shalom, means not only the peace that we have come to have in mind nowadays, But shalom means an inner sense of contentment, fulfillment, completion, and calmness. So to be in shalom in myself means that I have come into terms with myself. I have accepted myself. And by accepting myself, I have accepted the other. But in Christian terms, we know that there is no other. So that's the basis for a very healthy family.
Well, I am sure that anybody listening to this podcast wants to know more about this peace so they can be in a peaceful environment in their family relationships. So for people who just heard what you just said, and they say, you know what, I need that. I want that. Do I need to go to a 12-step program to find it? How do I link with this peace inside so that I can live in a household that's peaceful?
Mm-hmm. Right. To begin with, as we already said before, all peace and all war starts inside. There are people who carry wars inside them, and they externalize these wars to their relationship with other persons. And then it spreads like a disease. And then you have a society that is in conflict, a family that is in conflict. But on the other hand, if you manage to grow your inner peace, and then you will not carry war and conflict in your relationships, but you will externalize this peace, not only with actions, but by your presence, to lead by example, to lead by being peaceful, to lead by being dialectical, by accepting others, to be hospitable to others. That's how we start to build relationships that they are more healthy for us and our society. And of course, again, everything starts within, from the cave of our hearts.
So how do we take the Bible and our pursuit of our relationship with God so that he becomes engaged with us through the scriptures in the pursuit of peace? Because many of these conflicts today not only exist in the secular society, but even in the church and even among the Christians. And we see it in some of the racial strife. We see it in some of the class strifes and ecclesiastical strifes, where denominations are fighting each other. So it's something hasn't filtered down. So something is being missed in the spiritual pursuit of people who even go to church. They're missing something in Scripture or in their pursuit of God that is being lost. And the question is, how do we help them find that so that they can experience what you just so eloquently described?
It's very simple.
Oh, I like when you introduce something like that, because that means it's going to be easier to grab hold of. Okay.
He said it. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Is that simple? It's not. But it's simple. What do we have to do? Follow his steps. Follow Christ. And how did he taught us to do that? By praying. The disciples asked him to teach them how to pray. And he gave the Lord's Prayer. What is a prayer? A prayer is the breathing of the soul. How do we properly start to pray? We start from silence. What is silence? Silence is bringing peace unto myself first. I become peaceful. I go back into myself, right? I silence myself, and in silence, I learn how to listen. In silence, I learn how to accept, and in silence, I learn how to speak. So in silence, we learn how to pray. And the best prayer that we can have is Lord's Prayer. So by praying to God, we call from His qualities. We want to bring them and to express them and to manifest them in our lives and therefore in our family and in our society. So everything starts from silence and everything starts from within.
Now, very few people would define prayer as starting with silence. It's assumed we're starting with speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And yet you have, it's sort of be still and know that I am God kind of emphasis. So this silence, is this more of a meditative kind of presence where you're sitting, you're musing, you're thinking, or you're inviting God to speak into that space where you're not talking? Describe silence for me in terms of the practice of silence.
Right. Let's assume that you're a cup, right? And this cup is filled, let's call it tea. Everyday thoughts, everyday emotions, right? Worries, everything is in your cup. Okay? How will you be able to receive the grace of God when your cup is filled up to the top? You will have to empty your cup first in order to receive the grace of God. This is the silence.
Oh, so it's removing all the things that have filled your life so that there's space for God to enter into that.
In Greek,
that
it is synchorisis, which is forgiveness in English, but it's not quite the same term. Synchorisis means I forgive you, but synchorisis also means I make space in myself for you. I accept you. And that does not have to do only with the other person, that has mostly to do with him.
Well, I'm feeling more peaceful right now hearing you talk about peace and silence and prayer, because I can feel and sense. It's sort of like taking a deep breath and exhaling and going.
That's it.
You know, that's the. So I'm emoting with you, with your truth right now.
Empty your cup. Only after emptying your cup, you will be able to accept what comes from high.
And typically in prayer, we're bringing God a full cup. We're asking God to come into this space that I haven't emptied, and there really is no room there.
How can he be there then? You don't have space for him. Most people, they pray, and at the same time, will I have enough money to pay the bill? Oh, I forgot that dosage. My wife told me to wait for her there. You know, all these thoughts. It's not a proper prayer. You have to do away with them. So, proper prayer starts in silence, and it starts from within. Everything starts from within, and it is related to what we said earlier about stopping violence and all negative things inside, in the level of causes. When someone gets angry, when someone gets furious and he cannot control himself, it is very easy to sin, to rob, to kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if for a moment, when he starts feeling all this rapture in him and start wondering, what am I doing now? What happens to me? I'm losing myself. Let me keep myself peaceful again and go back to peace. Then everything dissolves. This person is incapable of robbing, stealing, being violent, etc., etc. So everything starts within. And it is in this within that we invite with our prayer Christ. When you have Christ inside, you cannot be violent, you cannot kill, you cannot steal and do all these nasty things.
This seems to link prayer with a sense of faith.
Yeah.
It's a belief system here. Mm-hmm. We're dealing with a God that we don't physically see. We're dealing with a method, prayer, that is not the normal method of getting things done. We want to get out there and make it happen. But what you have said has created and does create for people a sense to let God be God in the midst of afraid life. I mean, holding on to your faith when your world is falling apart, mm-hmm. whether it's sickness or finances or loss, or can be a challenge and can be overwhelming sometimes.
True.
And allowing God and allowing what God says in His Word to equip you to handle it, because, Jesus said in this world we're going to have tribulations, so we can expect trials to come our way. But I think what you're offering people is maybe a spiritual sedative, something to help them spiritually cope with things that they may not be able to change or reverse, but can move through it because they have brought God in at another level than they have had Him before.
True, that's true. Most people think that prayer is something passive. It's something ethereal, something that it cannot change actually nothing in our everyday life, in this world of external phenomena. Mm-hmm. But it's not so. You know that there are scientific studies today verifying that prayer and this state of mind and soul actually help someone to cope with life's difficulties. Cancer patients mm-hmm. have greater ability to cope with their disease when they are peaceful inside, when they pray, when they believe, when they have faith. They have a better prognosis and a better way of life, even during the disease. It has been proven that scientifically that prayer changes the chemistry of the brain. It changes the chemistry of the body to the better. I think these are reasons enough to think again about prayer.
I mean, just to get people to have enough faith to be silent long enough as part of their prayer and simultaneously empty their cup so that there's room for God. There is a faith decision that has to be made in order for prayer to allow you to experience what prayer is designed to provide us.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not only something caused by faith. Sometimes it's the circumstances of our lives that lead us there. Many a time people are so overwhelmed by the harsh realities of their lives that they feel, I cannot stand this anymore. I cannot I cannot continue living this way anymore. This life kills me. So one way or another, they reach this point where they see what we have just said about emptying the cup as a decision of survival. I have to change my ways. I have to do something else. And, modern societies, all about it. Modern societies are so loud, so external, so demanding, so energy draining. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
So
I'm going to go somewhere with that in a minute, but go ahead.
So in this world of utter materialism, where is the spirit? The spirit inside cries out for attention. It cries out to us. It shows a hand of help. Are we there to receive it? Do we listen to its voice? We don't. How will we come in a position to listen to the Spirit? Because God is always talking to us. How? By silencing ourselves, by emptying the cup. And faith. There is a lot of conversation about faith. What is faith? Faith is a safe basis to start everything from, right? It's an assumption to some. But that is why many scientists from the modern sciences, especially atheists, accuse us that we base everything on faith. But are not most of the scientific theorems, starting from the antiquity until now, based on faith?
Absolutely.
Axioms. What is an axiom? It cannot be proven. Let's take Euclides' geometry. From one point to one straight line, you have one vertical, one 90 degrees angle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is in his Stichia, this is the basis of his geometry. But then came others, Lobachevsky, Riemann, and they said, no, we can have more, infinite lines, or we can have none of them, and they make their own geometry. So are these geometries not require faith?
So when you talk about the noise that we're surrounded by, social media has dominated now. People are on their devices all the time and hearing or saying things all day long. So actually, the technology of our world is working against the thing that we need for the confusion that we face.
True.
So if Jesus was posting, what would he be posting right now? What would his message be to us?
Sit down, relax, and listen. Listen to the sound without sound. Listen to the small voice. We run from morning to dusk. We talk and we make noise and we run all over the place. We're so active. We move on the external dimension of things. We thrive in the world of phenomena. But what do we do in the dimension of the spirit? How do we fare there? Are we satisfied?
I'm fascinated by this concept of the spirit being satisfied, God's spirit and our human spirit, because when the two meet, then what we're talking about becomes a reality. And it only makes sense to me that all of this angst and anxiety that we're seeing all around us is because the spirit isn't satisfied. Our own spirits within, because God is not being allowed to penetrate, all the noise.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't control all that noise because a lot of that is totally outside of our ability, which means we're going to have to make some personal decisions, aren't we?
True. I was thinking that when you were saying all this, that when we were babies and very young, we were afraid of the dark. Most adults are afraid of the light. I think that's a problem.
That is so true.
So how do we connect and let that spirit inside talk to us? We just need to relink ourselves with these realities, and it always has to do with the emptying of the cup. Passing it into another level, this cup is our heart. It's the cave of our heart. Where do we need to meet and accept and have Jesus in our heart? This is the real chalice in each and every one of us. This is the descent of the Son of God. So by prayer, what do? We are feeding the presence of God inside us. This is exactly where the Spirit thrives. So one is closely linked to the other.
When a moment ago you talked about this filling, and you said it starts with silence, but then you went into the Lord's Prayer tied to that. How do you relate people praying the Lord's Prayer after they have emptied the cup, so to speak, and allowing that prayer now to go to the next level of experiencing God's presence for themselves?
Being full of silence means you're pregnant with the word. And the best word that a man can utter is a prayer. Then comes the Lord's Prayer. And this is the perfect moment to address yourself to your Maker and ask for help and for everything you might need. So that is why actually this whole process is a pairing of silence and of word, of prayer. And this prayer is the word because it came from Logos, from the Son of God. So by your word, the best word that a human can have is the word of Logos. It is Logos himself.
So you're actually joining, in a sense, Jesus in prayer. In that moment, you have synced with him and the Logos in communicating to God, because now God has your undivided attention.
Exactly. And again, this is a process. It's a long process. We are still in its initial phases. Paul talks about the incessant, continuous praying. How can we stay in continuous prayer? We have all these duties every day. It's the prayer of the heart. The prayer of the heart means that in every moment of your everyday life, in every breath, you can pray to God, to Christ. And this is the prayer of the heart in the Eastern tradition. Lord Jesus Christ, have mercy on me, a sinner. You can repeat that 24 hours.
As I reflect on, our conversation and the desperate need our world has and the individuals in it for this peace of God's presence operating in our lives to help us to deal with our lives, I'm thinking about the word investment. When a person invests something, they invest because they're expecting a return.
Mm.
I know when my life gets busy, I often don't feel like I have time to do the spiritual because I got to do all these physical things. But if I'm looking at it as an investment, that my investment in the spiritual actually gives me better ability to deal with all the other realities of life. If people could look at this time as not time lost, it's time invested.
Indeed.
In something that is going to help me live my life in a wholesome way in spite of the challenges that my life faces. So, I know a number of the psalmists talk about the morning, beginning in the morning, at the beginning of your day. David often has God on his mind when he begins his day, because all the things that are going to face us today. God, I need you. I don't just need to plan the day. I need you going before me, before the day, And since your mercies are new every day, then come on, give me some of that today by me prioritizing not all that I have to face today, but putting you in the right position today. So taking those few moments, however many moments that a person begins to take, because I only assume it will grow when they see the investment paying off, that they take a few moments and say, this is worth investing in because it's going to enable me to make sense of my day and to handle it better, no matter what may come, because God has joined me in this process in my spirit, by his spirit, to be able to face my day. So I think taking the Lord's Prayer, in Matthew 6, and saying, okay, it's me and you, God. I'm going to start by emptying, start by listening. Then we're going to walk with our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We're going to start with worship. And I want to serve you today. Your kingdom comes. I want to do what pleases you today. Your will be done, and I don't, I want to forgive others as they've forgiven me. And, I've on and on and on. And then, thank you for my provisions today, the daily bread. And then I still end it with God too, because thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. So I can see that pattern now. I'm not just reciting the Lord's Prayer as a ritual. I'm bringing God to bear.
Exactly.
As I launch into my day, starting with clearing the deck so that his prayer can infuse that reality in me.
Exactly. So proper prayer is like putting on a garment. But if you're already wearing 4 or 5 garments upon yourself, how will this one fit on you? So you need to address yourself. That means, again, to empty your cup.
I need to take a pen out and write that down, because you might hear that again, because that was a great illustration of your point.
Okay. So actually, now I'm going to be a bit cruel. All of us, we make time for ourselves to go to the gym, right? To go to a movie, to go for a stroll, right? And to walk our dog, which is something wonderful, right? Why not make some time every day devoted to prayer? Every day.
Make it part of your schedule.
Make it part of your schedule. By making time for the prayer, you're making time for Christ. And this, it will change you in time. If you persist, if you are true, If you believe and you have faith, you will see a little by little results. You will see how it will transform your life, and then you will not want to stop.
Well, I hope everybody who's listening to this podcast adjust your schedule accordingly to begin your day with God, launching it in silence and emptying that cup with the Lord and closing it with God, which means He's sandwiched into your waking hours, and let's begin to see the peace that passes understanding begin to take over in our souls in spite of the anxiety in our world. Thank you for the rich insights that you've given us today.
Thank you.
The pain remains, but so does hope. Every ending leads to something new. The memories still softly linger, like the rain that won't quite fade. And some nights my heart feels heavy from the choices that we made. But I've learned that even heartache cannot hold me where I stand. For every door that closes slowly opens roads I've never planned. Though the sadness still remains, I know this isn't where I end. Every goodbye holds a new sunrise. Every loss can heal again. So I'll keep walking toward tomorrow with hope inside my soul, trusting brighter days are waiting somewhere down this road. There were dreams I thought were forever. Now they drift like fallen leaves. But the future whispers gently, there is more ahead for me. Though the sadness still remains, I know this isn't where I end. Every goodbye holds a new sunrise. Every loss can heal again. So I'll keep walking toward tomorrow with hope inside my soul, trusting brighter days are waiting somewhere down this road. I may carry scars from yesterday, but they won't define my way. 'Cause even broken hearts can find a stronger love someday. Though the sadness still remains, I know this isn't where I end. Every goodbye holds a new sunrise. Every loss can heal again. So I'll keep walking toward tomorrow with hope inside my soul, trusting brighter days are waiting somewhere down this road.